Welcome once again, everybody, to Blockbuster Mentality. I'm your host, Ben. Me and Dave are back. Just us two, no celebrities to interview. We are finally doing a review on something, a new release, and it's the Obi-Wan series, episodes 1 through 4 so far. Might be a little controversial to some, may make sense to others. Hope you guys like it. Make sure you're subscribed to us on iTunes and give us a 5-star review to help us grow in those charts. Our numbers for audio podcasts and all that are amazing. We appreciate the support, but also we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to grow that channel a little bit. And watch us on there. Hit that notification and subscribe, or whatever those YouTubers say. But camera change. But yeah, make sure you subscribed. All that jazz, whatever the YouTubers say. Obi-Wan, what do you guys think of it so far? Leave your comments. I'm kind of nervous, again, a little controversial. Hope you guys like it. Here is me and Dave talking Obi-Wan episodes 1 through 4. I mean, we haven't done a review, just the two of us, and I don't know. It's been a while. We've been sticking with interviews, talking about old movies, but
yeah.
Hey, why not talk about, stuff that's going on and shows we're watching, right?
I miss it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know we love having the guests, but I like when the two of us just riff on something we've seen or movie out or in this case, TV and movie.
Right.
I'd be curious, we've had listeners. We've had an evolving show over the years now.
Yeah.
I'm curious, if there's a listener out there, probably like, good. I just want to hear Ben and Dave for once. I love the celebrities. They're great, but I really just miss the insight that I get from my favorite two podcast hosts.
The wonderful, wonderful insight that we provide for everybody. Yeah. The analysis.
What was the last Star Wars thing we talked about? Was it?
I mean, it has to be Mandalorian. Was it season 2 we did with Franco, Franco, and Matt?
And is that when I had the meltdown at the
end?
That
is when you had the meltdown. Yeah. It just end the show, Ben.
Can we end it?
That was that was the meltdown show. Yeah, Mandalorian.
We talked about Boba Fett doing it, and I think we neither one of us had the motivation to talk about it.
Yeah, we were gonna do Boba Fett, and then it just never happened. And even though it's not Star Wars, we were gonna do like Ozark, and all those types of just any shows really. But
lots of plans. I mean, I would love to do more. Maybe there's Stranger Things out there when that one wraps, because we did do. I have to look back, but I know we at least did season 1, right? We definitely did a Stranger Things episode somewhere in there. It'd be nice to maybe wrap that up.
Season 3 Stranger Things
was it 3?
Done. Then we did Ozark season 3. So we've done Stranger Things. I forget what season or seasons we've done, but we've done Stranger Things. We did Ozark. But anyway, today we got to talk Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Well, me and you, we text like almost every day.
Right.
We're always, did you see this? Did you see that? What do you think of that? It's always going back and forth. So it's, why not just do a show? And I don't know about you. I would suspect you agree, but particularly nothing gets me riled up. Nothing gets the juices flowing in my brain like Star Wars. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, it's first of all, I mean, in regards to reading stuff people say about Star Wars, reading, that gets me riled up. But just also what they choose to put out there riles me up, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing. Star Wars is just one of those things I think it's been just a part of our life for well over 30 years for both of us, you know.
Right.
It's
like the closest thing that I've got, like in terms of pop culture reference, like, you know, something that the closest other thing would maybe be Lord of the Rings for me.
Yeah.
But I didn't. We literally we grew up on Star Wars and
right.
watched, particularly, especially the original trilogy, over and over and over and over again, and it never got old for us, right? I mean, it still doesn't get old for me.
No, definitely not. And I always go back to the point you brought up about Lord of the Rings. You just love being in that world.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about Star Wars. You know, I just love being in, you know, immersed in that world again. And, you know, even though some of the choices made I might not like, it's, you know, I'm still tuning in, and it's Star Wars, you know. It's, I mean, it's hard to look at it in not to, you know, call ourselves critics, but it's hard to look at it like a critic, because I don't know, it gets more of a pass to me than everything else.
Yeah, like you're never gonna skip a Star Wars series, right? Could you ever imagine yourself? I mean, there's some things. Well, I think, but you know, at least live action. But I think you've seen. I think the only thing I haven't seen is Rebels. You've seen Rebels?
I've seen Rebels, yeah. And
have you seen Bad Batch?
Yes. The only reason I hesitate is because I think I missed a couple episodes in between, but my son told me they were filler, so I hope we were good there. But yeah, I've been watching Bad Batch with my son. It's fine. You know, again, in that Star Wars universe. I watched a bit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I've watched a bit of Bad Batch. I haven't seen Rebels. I don't know. I've heard it's good, but I don't. It feels too kiddie for me. But
yeah. You know, if I were you, I would maybe just look up like essential Rebels episodes to watch, because that show, when it's good, and then there's just so much filler, though, is the thing. So
So we had The Mandalorian, which, you know, we've done, we both liked. Although I think, I don't know if we talked. Season 2 for me was kind of other than the Luke thing, was kind of a dud for me.
Yeah, I mean, they had the Ahsoka stuff, which I liked.
That was good.
Bringing it. I mean, I always like Giancarlo Esposito. He was in it a little more.
Yeah.
I mean, season 1 though, you can't beat. I mean, same with like Stranger Things. Like in so many series, like the season 1 is just. It's just it's just kind of lightning in a bottle sometimes, you know. It's yeah.
You know, that actually brings up a good point. And I think we're trying to do a quicker episode, but Star Wars will always my mind always goes all over the place. But there's something I've seen, and I think I became and I'm always trying to be self-aware when I'm watching this stuff. And I think that's kind of what you were trying to say too, which is I'm a fanboy. I'm also kind of a critic, you know, if you want to call me that. But, you know, there are things I love, but at the same, you've got those, like, you know, the devil and the angel on either shoulder when you're watching, and so it does become tough, particularly as, you know, as much long fans as we have been. There's an element, and I only became self-aware of it due to the Marvel stuff, which is okay. I want to see. I'm gonna sound like an idiot when I say it, but I'll just credit myself. I want to see character on TV, and then when I see character on TV, I cheer. Right? Okay. So that's it. Like,
right? Yeah.
Like, me want Blue Beetle.
Right.
Me want Vader, or me want guy I like. You know, whatever it is, and that's it. And all I care, like, once I see it on the TV, I'm satisfied. I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so I recognize that part of myself, but now I hate that part of myself. And I see it in other people where they're like, I loved it because I saw this character. Like, to me, that's not enough.
Yeah, like it almost seems like you're more interested in just a cameo than a story,
right?
You know, than the actual story. You know,
you've given up completely on like any like semblance of good writing or coherence, just for the sake of seeing the character.
Right. And I feel like we've kind of reversed in that aspect because with this Obi-Wan series, I'm kind of longing for better story rather than the cameos, if that makes sense. You know,
it does. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going.
So I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I mean, what were your thoughts? I mean, were you excited for this series when it was announced? Like, what were your thoughts going into it?
Thoughts going into it was I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
And it's for like a lot of the reasons we've probably mentioned over the other episodes where we've talked Star Wars, which is I don't know that I need this story, you know, and I don't know that I love Ewan McGregor. We love Obi-Wan. And I think really, and something that you and I have talked about privately gone over is Obi-Wan is like maybe the most underrated Star Wars character ever. The guy is an absolute badass. And I don't know, it's almost like that perception almost gets like locked in so far from what we've seen in the story, which is the man, I'm just going to say he killed Darth Maul.
Essentially, yes.
He essentially killed Darth Maul.
And, you know, not to spoil Rebels for you, but he did kill Darth Maul.
Okay, so was
canon-wise, no matter what, he killed Darth Maul.
Great, so at least they made that right.
Yeah.
He killed Grievous, who was pretty formidable.
Yeah.
He nearly killed and just decided not to kill Darth Vader at really the height of his physical powers. Let's say that.
Right.
He fought like he was a field commander general. I mean, did the most amazing, like in a lot of ways, he might be the most accomplished Jedi we've ever seen. Physically, mentally. Yeah. I mean, he is the tops.
Most decorated soldier in the
right.
You know, in the
I mean, his side lost, but
right.
This guy's his like, you know, his mild-mannered approach like belies a much, you know, fury underneath when needed. And so far, I don't know exactly what the question you asked me was, but we haven't seen that character yet.
Yeah,
4 episodes.
We're 4 episodes in, and that's kind of what we're just giving the basis on this review. Is the first 4 episodes so far of Obi-Wan are our general thoughts. You know, we're not going to go, you know, story by story, line by line or anything. But
but why didn't we see that? Why do we have to go through what? This is 6 episodes, right? So
my original question, was, were you looking forward to this series?
I was scared. But it's my point. I was scared.
And that's kind of how I felt too. Because I mean, I was looking forward to a character study such as, you know, a Logan or Joker, or, you know, just a man in isolation.
Oh my god!
The psychological effects of being hidden away and being in hiding. And
I love what you just said.
Yeah,
and not just because. What did those characters do? They were facing trauma. They were facing issues, and well, for good or ill, they acted on them.
Right.
They didn't shrink away like little babies.
I mean, well, I know, you know, obviously, like you said, we text each other all the time, and we've talked about this. That's not necessarily the issue I've had with Obi-Wan so far. The issue,
hold on. So
I understand him turning off the Force and, you know, kind of, you know, hiding away from it, and, you know, I get that. I also get your point of him, you know, not being as strong as he was and all that. But again, it's been 10 years, so I understand that.
But you could have trauma, but also still be
a badass.
A badass.
like right, Logan. Logan lost all his friends.
Yes.
You know, he lost all the X-Men. And yet he's still able, he's broken and battered, but he's still able to, you know, obviously these are completely different universes, but
right.
You know,
so are you telling me that audiences would not have preferred to see maybe a reckless little too violent,
No,
unstable Obi-Wan
no, not at
versus.
all. Not at all. I totally get what you're saying, and I understand. I'm saying, I guess I'm playing devil's advocate a
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
bit,
I get it.
is by saying that, you know, I can get how he's, again, turned himself off from the Force, and mainly because he doesn't want to be found, because I think these
Yeah,
Inquisitors can sense Force sensitivity.
yeah.
um
And I think the
you know
first episode did a good job of actually explaining and establishing that.
yeah,
I will say I really liked. Yes, that's right. Because if you show yourself, now you're a major target.
yeah, because I like that line of the Grand Inquisitor when he first says, like, Jedi hunt themselves. And I what I took that as, if they see someone in trouble, they're going to try to save them. And that's
Yeah,
kind of
you
what I
use their strength as
yeah,
to your
yeah,
as a weakness. Yeah,
use their goodness,
or
yeah, as a
yeah,
weakness. Like, oh, I'm
yeah.
going to hurt this innocent person. Here comes a Jedi that's going to try to save them. That's how I took that line. So that's how I then took how Obi-Wan's being. He's like turning himself off from the Force. He's,
Yeah, makes sense.
but
But I mean, does he have? Well, I don't know. I have to say, because we saw this with Luke. I don't like the turning yourself off from the Force thing. I think if anything, even if you're not gonna do anything, you use it. That's all you know, right? So once you turn, then
right,
you literally are nothing, because it has basically been your entire identity for your entire life. Even if you don't, okay, let's just say you don't want to be the badass that I imagine, or
yeah,
the unstable guy fucking shit up because he's angry, or who knows, or maybe tilting towards something dark. You use it at a minimum just to meditate and to try to be, I don't know. It's that's like your solace. That's your touchstone.
right, yeah,
Always.
like that's what you go back to, and that's what makes you strong and what makes you tick and all that. So no, again, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, yeah, just kind of
Well,
playing devil's advocate, but
what did you think about? Because my first thought was, what's he going to do in the desert for 20 years? And we've that's been answered.
right.
So what was your? Were you excited? What was in your mind that you thought you were going to see?
Again, the whole isolation story, the character study, which they're not gonna, looking back on it, I realize they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna just have a man on a planet going through psychosis of being in isolation. Like, again, Star Wars is also made for kids. We got to go back to
Oh,
that. But
don't start with the kid thing.
okay,
Well, do you
Star
think it's made for kids?
no, no, I'm just saying it's for kids as well. It's not exclusively made for kids, but
Is
it's
this show for kids?
um it, I don't know, define kids. I don't think
Someone
I
who's
don't
not an adult.
I don't know. I don't know. My main issue, I guess, so far with the show is the contradictions with the New Hope. As I said to you in a text, Rogue One enhanced A New Hope. It
Yes, 100%.
expanded on it. It
Yeah, it made
gave
A
you
New
more.
Hope a better movie.
Yeah, it gave you more context. It gave you. It didn't just fill in gaps for
Its
filling
own
in
sake.
gaps' sake. Yeah,
Yeah.
it expanded on it. Whereas this, it's starting to make no sense. Him, like, again, it's nothing against the actress that plays Leia. I liked that they introduced Leia at first, but him basically, essentially, going on adventures with Leia,
As she bosses
totally.
him around.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I'm fine. What that's
No,
whatever,
the actress is
because
fine. Yeah,
that's what they chose
is
to
what it
do
is.
with that story.
Yeah.
It's the choosing to even introduce her and bring her into it and go on adventures with him is what contradicts A New Hope for me.
Yeah.
And it essentially, you served my father in the Clone Wars, is what she says in A New Hope in the message from R2D2.
Now, so people say, "Oh, well, well, yes, right." So the arguments. All right. So hold on. Let's take a step back.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're watching this show, and at any point, because you've seen, the original trilogy. You don't have to be losers like us and watch it a million times. But if at any point when watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, you go, whoa, wait a minute. As soon as your brain says, you start, something doesn't feel right with the way things are going to what you understand, then now I'm out of the show. Now I'm thinking, no. This isn't true, or this isn't what I thought. And so that's it doesn't matter. Like, you can parse the dialogue in any way you want, but the moment that me, a Star Wars fan, really anyone who's familiar with the film, says, well, wait a minute, hold on, I thought that, why did she say, or, that's a failure of the show. You should never be taken out of a show to stop and think about the movie you saw, the cornerstone film of the franchise.
Yeah, the cornerstone. Exactly. The cornerstone.
And it doesn't even matter if it's technically right, or let's just start there. It doesn't even matter if it's technically right or not. You should not be thinking, is that right?
And it's Obi-Wan essentially was in A New Hope. He was a Force ghost in Empire Strikes Back. And he's in his film is A New Hope.
Right.
So it's that's again what I go back to, like you said, that's the cornerstone. Like, why this last episode, this episode 4, she's holding his hand, they form a bond, they're holding hands at the end, and they totally formed a bond. She's not gonna say, I know you as you served my father in the Clone Wars.
You would never. There's no circumstance where the galaxy depends on your help, and I know you on a personal, deep level, and in my method of persuading you is to refer to some other thing you did,
right?
And besides my relationship with you, it makes no sense. And
it
doesn't matter. Go ahead.
On top of that, Luke being all distressed on the Millennium Falcon right after Obi-Wan dies, he's known him for 2 days. She was obviously at this point, he's a big part of her childhood and saved her life, and they held hands, shared a moment.
When he died,
I'm sorry about your friend.
Yeah, when he died, she was there when he was struck down by Vader in New Hope. She never reacted. Right. She did not know him. She didn't, and in really, to put what's really even more important than anything else is that we know the intent of George Lucas in A New Hope. She did not know him.
She did not.
And that was the intent.
And at that point, her and Luke weren't sisters. Vader wasn't their father either.
Right, because they didn't know that.
As people say, movies. It's planned out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He didn't know he was making more. Fine. Okay,
but so we've forgiven that. We've forgiven the incest. But
it's just a kiss.
Yes, it's just a little smooch. The one on Empire Strikes Back after he's out of the back of the tank, that was, I think there was some tongue there.
They're the European. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. But so in regards to the show, like, I like it as Star Wars, but when you think of the overall context, it throws me off. It.
Let me ask this question. If you were whoever's not Kathleen Kennedy, I don't know who's in charge of, is it Hidalgo, the guy? I don't know. Whoever's in charge of commissioning these shows. When you're hiring writers.
I mean, it's essentially Kathleen Kennedy. Okay, yeah.
So Kennedy, whatever, because we know Favreau wasn't involved in this one at all. It was the It was the
Deborah Chow, yeah.
Deborah Chow, because I guess she did a couple of Mandalorian episodes and then they gave her the show. But forget all that. But here's the question: if you're gonna hire writers to write a Star Wars show, should it be a requirement that they have good familiarity with films before they write the movie, before they write the show?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think it's 100% a requirement. I think
because we know Filoni, Favreau, those guys are Star Wars fans.
Totally Star Wars fans. Like, especially Filoni. I I'm looking forward to what he does with Ahsoka because I know he's a fan. He cares about Star Wars. And again, not to say Deborah Chow's doing a bad job because she didn't actually write any of these episodes, so she's just directing.
One of the writers apparently wasn't clear on if
I know that's the thing. Like, it's so do you know what I mean by though? Like, I appreciate it as a Star Wars, but like the grand scheme of things, it makes no sense. Is what frustrates me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
No, obviously not. You hesitated. You
Yeah. Well,
hesitated.
so you enjoy it individually, but it jacks up with.
Yeah, like because I mean, there's certain aspects I love. Let's talk about things we liked for a little bit. So I enjoyed the Grand Inquisitor in the first episode. I loved his little dialogue about Jedi hunt themselves.
Yeah, I like that too.
And I liked seeing Obi-Wan in isolation, feeding his animals, stealing the meat.
Yeah,
I thought
Joel
that
Egerton
was cool. It's Joel Egerton, which is great as Uncle Owen.
I really like that Obi-Wan having to restrain himself really throughout this process.
Right.
But although we do learn that he's not really restraining himself, he's just kind of being a bitch. But still, right. I mean, I get it. And then, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I appreciated that they brought up, what do you call Alderaan and Leia. I appreciate that, and I thought that was cool. They show C-3PO in the background, don't make it too obvious, which was cool.
Did you think this was going to be a show about Leia?
No. Which
why is it a show about Leia?
I mean, it made sense, but again, it doesn't make sense to the overall Star Wars.
Where's
story.
Luke?
Yeah, exactly. Are we going to see Luke? Like what?
Because Luke.
I guess it makes more sense to see her than it's see Luke. Like Luke barely knew Obi-Wan. Like if they have these last 2 episodes, if they have like a thing with him and Luke where they went on an adventure or something, like that's really gonna piss me off. Because
well, I mean, he didn't know him. He knew of him. He's old.
Yeah, that's true. Like he even says like Ben, like because he knew what he looked like and everything like that.
He has a faint understanding of who he is. And this was, well, I guess, going back to what you think, which is a lot of people are like, well, what's so great about a guy hanging out in the desert for 20 years? And then they just take him off of it. So fine. But what is he doing? Well, he's then ruining A New Hope along the way.
Exactly.
Because what else do you do?
I know.
Now they could have sent him on. Now, okay, so they say like the Star Wars universe and galaxy is gigantic, but yet it's really not, because every time we watch something, everybody runs into each other. Whoever might have known any kind of connection. Like, so why is Leia in this show? I don't know. I don't really know.
So you didn't appreciate seeing her?
I mean, it was no. Okay, I did not.
Yeah. No,
I would have rather the show did something completely different.
Yeah.
With if he was going,
it's not expanding the universe. It's
not. If he was doing something with the Inquisitors, I would have liked to have just seen that, and without bringing Leia, because it's not like she's underserved. She's she's not maybe the main character, but she is a lead. And it's like in A New Hope, she's in all the movies. She's a pivotal role in all of them. It's not like it's not like her story wasn't told at all just because she wasn't a Jedi. Like I almost take like offense to the idea that she was shoved aside at all in the original trilogy. She wasn't at all. Plus, and she was even better. Well, even given more in the sequel trilogy. She's actually given a way better arc than Luke was.
Yeah, she really was. I appreciate Jimmy Smith's coming back as Bail Organa. I thought that
he was
cool.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Stuff I like still. I'm not gonna go into
because
that.
So that's the thing, because we know. All right. So we live in this world where, I really want to make this point.
Yeah.
We live in this world where we have our hypers, people who hype things and love them, and we have our haters.
Yeah.
And it feels like. And because I consume the media, I'm on Twitter. I watch certain live streams or certain streamers on really kind of on both sides.
Yeah.
And you kind of know what the guy that tends to like things is going to say about the new thing, and then you know what the guy who tends to hate things is going to say about the new thing, and it becomes their brand. And then we see these fights all over Twitter. And it's really frustrating because it feels like there's people saying that they hate things because they have to say they hate them. But then there's also people who say that they love these things and it's the greatest thing they've ever seen because they want to keep you interested in consuming the next product, to quote Red Letter Media.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's, especially as, Hey, let's face it. This is our hobby. We enjoy doing it. We talk about movies, but it's just like it's frustrating seeing people just cater to whatever side they want to cater
Right,
to.
one or the
Like,
other. Yeah,
and it's painfully obvious when you
yeah.
see it. It's I'm not going to name names,
No, we
but
don't need to do that. But
yeah, exactly.
we
But
people. I think most people know who they are.
yeah, exactly. There's certain people who will like things because other people don't like them. They'll not like something
Yes.
because other people,
Yeah, the guy that I don't like
that.
said something, so now I got to disagree with him or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
Another thing I do like is that they're totally hinting that Qui-Gon Jinn / Liam Neeson is going to make an appearance in this series.
I'm ready for it.
Which is amazing. I know you are a huge Qui-Gon guy. I mean, I love him too. But I know you've said, a lot of things about Qui-Gon, which I love.
Well, there's an argument to be made. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's totally obvious, which I'm fine with. They're making it obvious that his voice is gonna show up, or he's gonna show up as a Force ghost.
I think he's got to show up as a Force ghost.
No, I mean, he's they hinted at it towards the at the very beginning, which I loved at the very beginning of the series, the recap they did with the
Can I tell you a quick
prequels.
funny story of that?
And it actually made the prequels look way better than they were. But yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Before we started, because I watched this with my wife, I make her watch this with me. And before I pressed play, I had no idea they were gonna do a recap. So I think we had a few drinks that night or something.
Yeah.
But I spent 40 minutes explaining the whole plot of Star Wars to her. And then I press play and they do it in 2 minutes.
Oh, God. You're like, oh.
Right. Yeah. Well, because she's like, because she had a lot. Well, we went off on tangents, and she's like, "Well, who's this guy? Who's that guy? Who's this guy?"
Was she confused about the timeline and stuff too?
That was one of the things.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest hurdle to like when, who, what.
All these new series, people get confused with the timeline.
I think I had to say this takes place. I had to try to find the correct wording to explain this takes place between episode 3 and episode 4, and I finally got there, but it took a long time to.
I finally got there.
But you're right. That recap. Wow, I wish I watched those 3 movies.
Exactly, like the music they had playing, and like so again, good. Like it made the prequel seem amazing. Again, awesome. There's aspects on paper. I love the prequels, but on screen I don't.
It's just like I was on Twitter with someone. I was like, Attack of the Clones on mute is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Robert Meyer Burnett had suggested to play like John Williams Star Wars music with Attack of the Clones, like without the dialogue, and it's really, really good. So that might be an adventure because the visual, and you can imagine looking at the storyboard of it, and you're like, oh, this is fucking great. And then you listen to them talk, and it's like, oh, you're killing me. But like you said, you still love it.
Yeah, exactly.
In your own way, you still love it. So yeah.
A big part of this series is that we were gonna get Vader and Anakin, Hayden Christensen, and all that, which we get a hint towards in episode 2,
right,
when Obi-Wan is going off to save Leia from Red Hot Chili Peppers dude. Flea. save her from him, and we find out in this episode that Obi-Wan didn't know that Vader was Anakin. Essentially, he thought he killed Anakin.
Well, yeah, because that's plausible. Well, at least, first, I don't know, 10 years plausible, but I think it's as I understood it, he thought he was leaving. He couldn't finish Anakin off, and he was going to leave him to die because that was all he could do. Little did he know there was a shuttlecraft with the Emperor flying right in to save him. Now I understand that. He thought he left him dead. However, 10 years later, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, because he saw the hologram of the Emperor appointing him as Darth Vader, so he knows his name.
Yeah.
So you got to think he heard things about it. about this Darth Vader. So it's like,
It would also be
how
his
is he just
job.
now?
It would
Huh?
be his job to know who, like, to keep his eyes and ears on what's going on with the Empire, right?
Yeah, you would think so, but we could easily get into that.
How
But
does we?
I do like how they, his distraught look. Like Ewan McGregor does a fantastic job when he does find out,
Oh, he's great.
and the fifth sister Reva tells him that Kenobi or that Anakin is alive and is Darth Vader,
Do you
and
know
then
how she knows that, or because
I
this is
don't
like
know. Yeah, that it makes no sense to me that she knows that.
because this is one of mostly for plot reasons for the reveal in Empire Strikes Back. Really, is the only reason why this must be a secret, but it is the one of the most closely guarded secrets in this entire universe. Maybe just for that own reveal, but
right.
so
Unless she's like snooping around archives and knows, and she's the only one that knows. I don't know.
is she the only
I
one with access to the archives? Because that's also
exactly.
how she found out the connection to Bale and Obi-Wan, which I found a little flimsy, to be honest.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Like, and especially after this last episode, obviously we know she's going back to Alderaan with that droid, the tracking droid or whatever. So,
It's stupid.
what?
It's very stupid.
But I do like the face on Obi-Wan when he realizes Anakin's alive, even though he should already know.
But I did like the
and then
emotion.
they
The
show
impact was good.
Anakin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they show Anakin in the back of the tank opening his eyes,
Is
which
that all
is
we're gonna see of Hayden
cool.
Christensen?
I mean, in the next episode, we see when his mask goes on and stuff. And I got to tell you, man, the next episode when we do see Vader for the first time, James Earl Jones' voice is
Oh, that's
so
great.
much better than it was in Rogue One.
Yeah, I wonder
Like,
what they did there. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know if they used the same technology they did with Luke in the Boba Fett series. Like they used like
Like de-aging the
technology.
voice.
Yeah, like they use AI to use clips of his voice
Oh,
to form
okay.
sentences. So, but yeah, his voice is like it sounds like original trilogy Vader. Like
Yeah.
it's
No, that
amazing.
was great. That was spot on.
Yeah, and
Um,
then him trying to yeah, that's the episode we get Obi-Wan trying to save Leia, and but yeah, this is where Obi-Wan and Vader first confront each other, which is great. I love it. It's great fanboy moment of them battling a little, and Obi-Wan is totally out of the force and can't could contain himself, but still makes no sense,
no,
in
no.
respect to A New Hope.
The intent of A New Hope was that they had not seen each other since whenever it was that they last met,
Yep.
which was told to us through Revenge of the Sith on that battle on Mustafar. That's it. They have
Yep.
not met each other since. It just it kills the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, he says like when I left you, this is up to interpretation. Maybe, well, this so then what if they fought,
I was the learner
10 more times?
but now I am the master.
Right.
Like,
Clearly they haven't met since some pivotal moment,
yeah.
which they then told us in ROTS. There's no way. There's just no. That was not what. Whatever you can parse the dialogue again. You can parse the dialogue. Lucas was not. There was no intent in Lucas in A New Hope. This was to say that they had seen each other multiple times since some. It had been a really, really long time. They had not. I don't think they had seen. Particularly, I don't. Obi-Wan seeing Vader in that suit. I don't think it really was there. Many, many years for a final encounter off of whatever else had happened before. That was the intent. There's nothing you can read in A New Hope that says, "Oh, they fought multiple times over."
Yeah.
Because why not? What? Maybe they just fought, like a month ago,
and even yeah, exactly. And even in order for that line to now even make sense, they're gonna have to fight again in this series to show that Obi-Wan got the best of him, which still doesn't make sense. Like, again, the implication in A New Hope, like you said, was that the last time they saw each other was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Now we didn't know in A New Hope. I don't think, and George certainly didn't know that was as like human. I don't think as necessarily as human form. I don't even know if he had an idea, which is actually great about New Hope, because so many things are so vague that you're just kind of left to like imagine them on your own. Like go back to Leia. Years ago, you fought with my father during the Clone Wars. What the fuck is that? I don't know what that
Yeah.
means. And it's like,
yeah,
okay,
we don't know
so
what the Clone Wars are. Like, what is that?
was it even a fully formed idea? I don't
Right.
know. And
Yeah.
and it's like, it's not even like that it ruins the continuity, is that it actually like takes the mystery and the great storytelling away from those movies. Like, could you imagine, like, okay, here's a scenario. What's better storytelling wise? Princess Leia, who we just sort of met, is in dire need, reaches out. Her only hope is this mysterious old warrior who she doesn't know, who's now like hidden away somewhere. She's reaching out to him, and that's her only hope. Versus some man she had a deep connection with just a few years ago. What's more compelling to you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's totally your this is your last breath. This is your last moment of trying to save the rebellion.
And you have to
It's
reach out
way
to
more
this.
intriguing to
Yeah,
reach out to this. My dad says he knows you. Like, I
this
I
whole
have to
yeah.
trust my father. Like, this is, you're my only hope at this point. Like, and even in Rogue One, like Jimmy Smith says, like, I trust her with my life. I'll deliver this message to this, Jedi I know, or whatever. It's
Yeah.
and Bail Organa knows him. He's this highly decorated senator, and he knows the cave Obi-Wan's in too. Like, what's that all about?
Yeah, he just kind of walks in, whatever it's security. It's like,
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah, it's
But yeah,
I
same
mean,
thing too. The duel between Vader and Obi-Wan, why is it impactful in A New Hope? Because he's finally like facing this man now turned machine, master of evil. That I'm doing this to like help along Luke. Like, we haven't. It's been all these years, and I'm sort of come out of hiding to like do attack, or to basically be
right.
like a rear guard retreat action to save who I think is really I'm not the only hope. The
Yeah,
only hope is this
and
boy here.
yeah, exactly. And I'm this old man hermit now. Like, in my best way to help him is become one with the Force,
Right.
and that's what he does.
But the idea
You
that
know?
I fought you, Vader, other times
Yeah.
since then, it just cheapens it. It's not the same. It's like
Right.
Obi-Wan was like mustering all that was left of him to like go out and do what he did,
Right.
to like face this menace that he once knew has been corrupted by evil. Not like, oh, here's time number 10 that we encountered each other. That's stupid.
Exactly. Yeah. It honestly, yeah, it makes no sense in the context of A New Hope that they faced each other. I mean, even though I absolutely loved the scene and everything, him pulling Obi-Wan through
Right.
the fire, saying like, "You will suffer." This is just the beginning of your suffering, and I am what you made me. Like, that was
I like that.
great.
You know what I
Great
kind of wanted though?
lines.
I just, the part of me just wanted, I don't know, just to go back to like the badass. Something about me just wanted Obi-Wan to say, "Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I put you in that suit." Like, just like,
Right. Like,
because you did, like, you actually did. I know you feel bad about it, and you regret that it even had to come to that. But stand up for yourself a little
right.
bit. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you're 100% right there. Yeah, so I mean, it's, yeah, like you said, it cheapens A New Hope, and
For
it's
nothing, really.
frustrating. Yeah, it's again, it's cool to see Ewan McGregor being Obi-Wan again. It's cool to see Darth Vader, but when you're
Yeah.
looking at canon and the overall story of Star Wars, it cheapens it.
Right. Like, I'm happy we have the series, and on balance, I'm glad to watch it. I'm happy to watch
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But I can't just like say it's great, because it's not in a lot of ways, and because I'm not going to pretend that I would have taken the direction I would have taken the show would have been better or anything like that. But I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But
Yeah, I know.
You want to know my kind of hot take, I guess.
More than anything.
Okay, and it's something we've talked about on the show before, which is that Star Wars, A New Hope, Star Wars, A New Hope, whatever, was lightning in a bottle, and Lucas was somehow able to capture it even better in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Really, on a critical eye, there are only two great Star Wars movies, and I would also include Rogue One as like a third waiting on. Um, and so I think my hot take is these movies were way better than they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we kind of like laugh at the Buck Rogers cereal thing. What if that's all Star Wars really is? And we just got lucky that the first two iterations of it were fucking fantastic. And now, maybe this is just Star Wars. We're just gonna get stuff that's a little silly. It's almost like soap opera. It's gonna be silly. It may not always make sense. And they got their laser swords and their space wizards.
Yeah.
And that's it. Maybe that's just ultimately what Star Wars is. And we just settle on that level. What do you think of that?
No, I completely concur. It's it was lightning in a bottle. It was a fluke, that we had A New Hope that spawned Empire Strikes Back, and I mean, the third act of Return of the Jedi is a masterpiece. It's and then it just became part of the zeitgeist, but part of the culture, and it. No, I totally hear
Maybe
what you're saying.
It's just slog, and once in a while
now we're continuing to try to build on it and try to make it better, where it's like, just leave it alone, like try to go back, like what they're eventually, I think they're gonna do, is go back to the old Republic, and what happened before all this, hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
I'll watch it, but maybe I just think like it's I'm not expecting it. I think this is the issue, right? Expecting A New Hope and expecting Empire Strikes Back, we're probably never gonna get it again, but we're just not. And so just be happy with what you get, I guess. But you don't have no. Let me take that back. Understand what it was supposed to be,
right?
And keep it. Maybe will temper your expectations of that. You don't have to be happy with it, because maybe it's not supposed to be. Maybe it'll never be another masterpiece. We will be lucky in our lifetime if we ever get another masterpiece Star Wars film.
Well, I mean, the same can be said. Yeah, I mean, for many things, like, are we ever going to get a masterpiece Lord of the Rings again?
No, never.
Exactly. No. So I mean, we enjoyed it, and we enjoy being back in this world. We're still going to watch it. It's just disappointing.
But we're generally happy.
Yeah, generally happy. Again, we're this episode, I think, is just about our disappointment and concerns about messing with established things that were good about Star Wars.
It's like picking
the contradictions.
Yeah, it's picking a fight that doesn't need to be picked, or it's in fact, as you said, with Rogue One, yes, 100% elevated A New Hope. Now this Obi-Wan, it diminishes A New Hope, and that's not a light thing to say. It absolutely did, and it did not have to go in this direction. There was nothing forcing them to make these choices.
And we both love Mandalorian because, first of all, it's a brand new story. Yeah. It's obviously they're introducing characters we've known and stuff, but still, it's basically it's brand new story. But this is kind of a Mandalorian type story too. A loner going off with the child, going on adventures, protecting this child. It's that's what Mandalorian does with Grogu. It's
give me something new, and this is I was one of the I don't know if if we're really looking back here. I did not like The Force Awakens, not from the beginning.
Right.
And this was before, like, I didn't, this is before we did a show. I wasn't watching YouTube. I didn't like it. Why? It for a very simple reason. Well, our characters, and I've said this on the show. That story was told. Luke Skywalker, Leia, and Han. That story was told. There was nothing else you could do for those characters that could possibly improve on that finale of Return of the Jedi. It was glorious. When they're celebrating at the end of that film, it was done. They were happy. They were united. They had won.
Yeah.
Leave it alone, for God's sake. Do something different. And I don't know. That was always my thing. And then, you know, they made the characters losers and whatever.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I am not as critical as Force Awakens as you are, but I totally get what you're saying.
The
but
only
yeah,
one they
I mean,
didn't kill was sorry. I would say the only one they really didn't destroy was Leia. The only one they actually did respect to was Leia.
Yeah.
Han, they turned him back into a deadbeat. Luke, they made him into a loser. I don't know. I mean, he did better as it went on, I guess. But you know, from the way they wrote the character, I didn't mind what they did with what it was, but I didn't want it to be there and make him sitting there drinking the blue milk out of the udders at that point.
I think exactly. I think Obi-Wan would have been better if it wasn't Obi-Wan, if it was just about the Inquisitors hunting Jedi, you know, and still having Darth Vader in it. Like, this is how they tried it, you know, them hunting down Jedi, and
like
maybe
Vader
getting flashbacks and being haunted with his past, and, you know, getting fighting with good rather than fighting with bad that Luke does, you know, in you know, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, because the Inquisitors, if you haven't watched any of the animated stuff, none of that. Who are these people holding red lightsabers?
Right? Yeah, it's like what
is it?
Yeah, exactly. Like so yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what else Vader brings in this series. We have 2 more episodes. You know, I'm always down for seeing Vader do stuff. I love that scene of Vader going through the town, knowing Obi-Wan's there, basically taunting Obi-Wan.
It's
like
brutal,
grabbing people, killing people, snapping their necks, taunting Obi-Wan, trying to get him to come out. Like, you want to play? Let's play. Like, that was, like, again, there's amazing moments in this series, and
I thought that was interesting too, because it showed Vader at like a younger state. I think the Vader we see in the original trilogy is a little more calculating. I don't think he would have necessarily done that.
Right.
But this Vader he's more emotional. He's less in control of his plans. He's out there just being a maniac.
Yeah.
And whatever he can do to draw Obi. I thought that was great.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I know this has been a very critical review, but I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes to see what they bring. Maybe they'll bring things together and it'll make more sense. And I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing Qui-Gon. And I do think. What do you think? Do you think the Emperor will show up?
I hadn't even considered it. I mean, that's a lot to bring in. I mean, first of all,
again, are we excited for cameos or stories? But
yeah,
like
exactly.
At this point,
it's like, you just did it. You just did the thing that I said.
Exactly.
You just did. Here's what has to happen in 2 episodes. Obi-Wan's has to find his testicles.
Yep.
And maybe then the 2, it probably has to do with something with Qui-Gon. So he has to relearn the Force. And we can't.
Yeah, maybe in the next episode will be him, Qui-Gon, kind of training him through his mind, like, type of thing. I don't know.
It's got to. And then I don't know. I really don't know. You know, another confrontation with Vader. I guess it's gotta happen. But there's also the Reva character, which is kind of left. There's a feeling that she's gonna turn. Because at some point we're gonna end up on Luke. I mean, we think that's gonna be the that's gonna be the climax.
Right.
Luke's fate is gonna hang in the balance at some point in that last episode, right? Yeah. Something will come back to Tatooine where Obi-Wan will have to do something, because that's the whole point of the fucking show.
Right. Yeah.
so we're going to take a 5-episode detour to get back to the thing that we all thought we were talking about, right?
Yeah. I'm supposed to be on Tatooine to protect Luke, but here I am on this mission to protect Leia.
So, basic is I would assume that would be the thing. The Emperor, I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting.
I mean, I think it would be cool to see it, like him make an appearance, like have a hologram of him. I mean, obviously Ian McDermott is still alive and everything, and played Vader or played Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker, so obviously he's still around.
Does he do anything besides play the Emperor? I've never seen him in anything.
I've never seen him in anything else, actually, so he's still getting those residuals. He doesn't need to work. Yeah, but yeah, Obi-Wan, yeah, again, excited for the next 2 episodes, but yeah, I'm just disappointed just in regards to the overall handling of canon.
And there's I'm just quickly, there's just like little things in the episodes. They're like, oh, this, where they show the wide shot, and you're like, oh, okay, this didn't make sense with what they showed me previously. Right. With the laser gate thing, you can just walk around it. Who cares? There was one in episode 4 where I forget the character's name, but she's the one that was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Where she's in the, I don't know, control room or something, and then she gets confronted by a guard, and then she goes and kills him. And then she gets up back at their station, and then they show a wide shot of her stepping away from the station, but the room is full of people. Like, no one would notice that you just killed this guy.
Right. Yeah.
Like 8 feet behind them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, what? I don't know where people say it's rushed, but how could it be rushed?
Yeah, I know. It's not.
No one's watching it being like, this is stupid. Like, not even, forget canon, just, I don't know. Even that almost bothers me more than the canon.
Yeah.
Because there should be a standard.
Yeah, right? There should be. Yeah.
You should be the high, you watch so you watch Better Call Saul, right? There's nothing stupid in Better Call Saul.
It's true.
There's nothing where you're like, oh, why he just, why didn't this character just do that? Because it just doesn't come up.
Right. Yeah. It's because they're smart about it and know what they're doing. They're not just trying to please these fanboys and all that. It's and fanboys should be more mad than us. I mean, we're semi fanboys, I guess, but
yeah. So maybe that's the divide. There's the fanboy who slurps it up. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as they call it Star Wars. And then there's the fanboy who says no. This is not A New Hope. This is not Empire Strikes Back. Therefore, it sucks. Yeah, maybe that's the divide. I don't know. And I feel like we're straddling both.
Yeah, I know. It's
we're trying to make peace with it all.
It's a struggle. I love Ewan McGregor. I like, I love the Darth Vader scenes and everything. I just hope things. Maybe they'll make sense of things in these last 2 episodes.
I hope they do. I mean, Christ, here we are. So. They only got 2 episodes left, and this 4th episode was like, what, 30 minutes? Oh, you're killing me with that.
I know. It's like, yeah, why? I hate these short episodes. Like, even when Mandalorian did it, it's like, come on. Like, these Stranger Things episodes this season are like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And it's full of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But
so please, that's right. That's yeah. Please, the last 2 episodes.
Yes,
happy.
Yeah.
Maybe Andor series that could be something.
I know. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that will be interesting. Maybe
looks like a lot of action,
nitty gritty of the rebellion and stuff. Because obviously he was a huge part of that. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So yeah, Obi-Wan. There's aspects that are great and cool. There's just I don't know. Just
I think this has been a very balanced review.
Yeah, I agree. But all right. Well, yeah, there's our review. Well, there you have it, folks. There was our review. Hope you guys we're okay with it. Hope we weren't too hard on it. But, hopefully episodes 5 and 6 will make us feel better about it. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at BlockbusterCast, Instagram at BlockbusterMentality. BlockbusterMentality.com is where you can get all the updates on the show. But had a blast with Dave. It was great just having him one-on-one again. Just the two of us. But anyways, all right, for Dave, I'm Ben. And as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys at the movies.